A live shot over in Cabo San Lucas, right at the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula, western Mexico. By late this week, you guys are going to have to watch out for a tropical storm. It's most likely going to pass a little bit to your west, but there is a chance that you could get hit by it. I'm going to explain what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about Tropical Storm Flossie, which actually is it's a little bit more of an impressive looking storm than Barry, which is on the other side of Mexico over in the western Gulf, which we'll talk about in a second here. But there's also another area to watch, a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. Let's focus on Flossie, though, because this storm pretty likely to become a hurricane within the next couple of days. Right now, tropical storm, 40 miles per hour, very large storm. It's got a pretty big radius to it. And you look at the forecast cone, you know, this is not appearing like it's going to be a storm that will barrel directly into Mexico here. But you notice you get the Baja Peninsula that is at least included in the cone toward the end of the cone. So again, as we get farther out in time, the amount of confidence in the forecast goes down, so the cone gets a little bit wider. Now, most of the forecast models have Flossie as a tropical storm because it will be losing strength at that time over some cooler water. Most of the models have it going west of the Baja Peninsula, but we got to remember what the cone means. The cone is the area of uncertainty as far as where the center of the storm could go. So center of the storm could do something like that. It could barrel right into the Baja Peninsula. It could do something like that. You get the idea, something in between. But the center of the storm isn't the only place that you have impact. So, you know, let's say the center of the storm goes toward Cabo and the storm is this large. So, you know, you'd still have some impacts east of there, too. But you get the idea. We're going to have to watch this toward the end of the week. We've got tropical storm watches that are in effect for western parts of Mexico, out around Manzanillo. Now, the storm itself, again, the center of it likely to stay off the coast, but it's probably going to be a hurricane around this time. So, again, it's the radius of the storm that really matters here. And if it's big enough, which it appears like it's a pretty big storm, we're definitely going to get some tropical storm conditions there off the coast. Now, this really tells the whole story, the water temperatures. Very warm water just off the coast of Mexico. You get up closer to Baja, and the water really cools off quite a bit. Now, the further east Flossie decides to go, the higher of a chance that it will have it hanging on to some of its strength and becoming a possibly bigger problem for Cabo and some of those spots. But the other thing that I noticed with this is it stays relatively close to the coast. You know, obviously, a landfall is a much different story. You're going to have the extremely violent wind, the storm surge, and all that. With this kind of setup, it's more likely some pretty windy conditions and a lot of rain for those guys over in western Mexico.